Hey there, small business owners. Ever feel like you're always putting off updating your website? For most of you out there, building and maintaining an online presence can be overwhelming. Your day-to-day schedule can greatly impact necessary tasks like keeping your website up to date and planning marketing campaigns to stay competitive. Brand You Love offers monthly packages for website maintenance, marketing campaigns that help keep current customers engaged while attracting new ones, and social media strategies that keep you in touch with your customers. At Brand You Love, we do the legwork for you, so you don't have to. Contact us today at brand.love.com.
Welcome to Desert City, a Dungeons & Dragons 5e actual play produced by TTRP Theater. I'm Duke Walter. I play Ellen. Chris Freedom is Theo. Dean Martin Jr. is Kevyn. Cher Davis plays Mila. You can find her at ThatGamerShare on social medias. She's a good friend and joining us for the next few episodes. Jazz Abramowitz is our Dungeon Master. We are fast approaching the climax of this Desert City run. If you've been here listening, thanks. Hope you're enjoying the ride. If this is your first time, welcome. But maybe jump back to the beginning so that you know where we are, and why we are, and how we are, and when we are. You can follow us on social media at RenCityPod, RenCityPod. If you love actual plays of a variety of games and casts, check out the YouTube channel for TTRP Theater, 2 words. We have streamed a variety of systems over the years: werewolf, vampire, prowlers and paragons, Dungeons and Dragons, kids on bikes, cult, Divinity Lost. So go check out the page. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all the things. Please rate on any of the podcast platforms. Every click is important. Thank you so much for doing so. All right, let's get into it. Welcome back to Desert City.
So we cut over to Theo. Theo, day is passing. You are alone until finally from the cell next to you, you hear a voice. Mila, why don't you introduce yourself?
Mila is a woman in her late 30s. She is of medium height with deep brown skin and hazel eyes. She appears to be fit and trim, but her naturally curly hair is a little bit disheveled. She is a recent inmate, probably a day or so ago. She hears Theo rattling his cup against the bars, as apparently he has been wont to do for the past couple of days. And at the moment, she is kind of curled up at the opposite corner of her own adjacent cell, and she does not have her eyes open at the moment. Matter of fact, it would almost seem like she is sleeping. But suddenly, amid that racket, she says, "Will you stop that infernal rattling? Some of us are actually trying to get some sleep."
I'll have time to sleep when I get out of here.
I had a question for the DM. How obviously might she have been brought in? Was there like a scuffle? I feel like Mila is the type that would have she would have caused the scuffle. When she was first brought in.
There was definitely some scuffling you heard, Theo, a few days ago. But of course, you're very isolated, so you weren't sure what it was.
Got it. To which Mila would then say, If you're so eager to get out of here, well, put it this way. Have you even stopped to observe when the guards change or anything like that? I mean, really, take a look around you.
I'm watching. I'm listening.
Seems like no one's coming for you.
No, no, I'm beginning to think the same thing, which leads me to believe that my lifelong friends, whom I rely on for this sort of thing, must not even know I'm here. Yeah, I see the pattern. Thing is, I'm feeling rather helpless to get out of here. I don't really have any sort of strength that would break through these bars. I don't have that sort of leverage.
For the first time in the conversation, Mila actually turns towards Theo at this moment. And uh, even if the light is a little dim, you can see how hazel her eyes are. They're almost in dim light, you'd probably think they were glowing almost. But she sets her gaze upon you, Theo, and says, You know, you can have as many friends in this life as you like, but we are all alone at one point or another. It just depends on what you make of that. You seem strong enough. You just might too. And the question for you, has Mila had any communication from or to anyone on her side as of this moment?
Well, you do know that Wylam asked you to find yourself at Dawn Tower to locate Theo. And you thought that that was going to be a good way for you to do two things at once, as you were currently engaged in your smuggling program out of the church. Unfortunately, you were caught. So you know that you were looking for Theo, and you were able to send a message back through your channel confirming he was there with you in jail, but that's all that's been able to be passed.
Excellent. Okay, that's exactly what I needed to know. As long as I know, that's where I'm at the moment. Thank you. All right.
I get that I'm alone, but it doesn't mean I have to remain alone. I believe everything is done better in community. My name is Theo. Pleasure to meet you.
A pleasure to meet you, Theo. It would seem that you have confirmed something for me, all things being equal here. It would seem you are not as alone as you think. Matter of fact, a mutual friend of ours has asked after you. And so it would seem that our fates may be a little bit tied together at the moment. Wylam sends his regard.
Wylam. Interesting.
Indeed. I've worked with him for quite some time, and he is definitely one to have his ear to the ground, so to speak, as far as all things that occur and happen in this city.
Right, he does that. That is fact.
And so he has sent me to retrieve you, actually.
Well, great. Let's go.
Easier said than done. DM,
Yes.
does Mila, is she aware of the timing of guards, of any guards that seem like they are lackadaisical more than the others, or some little chink in the armor that she has already found to exploit?
Here is what you know. The cell that you guys, the two cells next to each other that you guys are in the southwest corner of Dawn Tower, away from the main building. You know from the maps that already exist at the Thieves Guild that there is a way out of the facility from the cell that Theo is in on the north wall that's approximately 300 feet and goes right outside. The hallway that is in front of your cells is also about 300 feet, and it eventually leads up to the main temple area. There may be other paths. The Thieves Guild maps were incomplete, so you don't know much more than that. In terms of noticing any sort of guards lackadaisical or missing their shifts or timing, why don't either one of you or both give me a history check?
Oh, my friend, you would probably want to do that one. I will say. Why don't I defer that to Theo?
19.
Beautiful.
19. Nice. Theo, you've been there now a couple of days. We're sort of time jumping back and forth between the two stories, so don't get too focused on that. You've been there for a couple of days. You've noticed that sometime after the lunch meal is served, it seems you get no visitors for at least 2 to 3 hours. And then they start coming back around somewhere around what you would think in our modern time, would be, say, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You see them at noon for lunch. You don't see them again till 4.
Mila will speak up and say, to my knowledge, there's 2 ways out of this place. And I think she comes over towards his end of her cell and makes sure to speak in hushed tones. By the way, PM, are there any other prisoners that are around us in this chamber at all?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking the DM.
Oh, I thought you were asking Theo. Why don't you propose that question to Theo?
Well, okay, fair enough. Well, it was more of a what is in my environment question, but fair enough. Theo, friend, in all honesty, I want to make sure that we have an understanding. I want to make sure that you and I are on the same page. We may need to do some reprehensible acts in order to get out of here. You're not a too goody two shoes, are you?
Fucking square.
Well, I mean, if you need to know where I am in terms of my integrity, I'm an honorable person, and I'm not here to hurt people. But I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it. I don't want to hurt any innocent people, but I'm all about fighting my way out of oppression.
That tells me what I need to know. I was afraid of that. All right. Well, just know that it was easy to get in here, quite honestly. And I don't know what you did to get in here, but somebody doesn't like you very much. I can imagine. But put it this way, getting put back in here would be a problem. So I am prepared to do what I need to in order for that not to happen. Understood?
I'm not here to judge. I can only be responsible for my own decisions. Let me put it this way. If you did something heinous and it opened the door to my cell, I'm still going to walk out of it.
Very good. Okay. Then we have an understanding.
Theo's moral compass is so like as long as it's good for Theo, it's good.
He did say from the beginning that he was chaotic good, like straight up. And he's fucking living it.
I love it. It's perfect. He plays it so perfectly. He's just like, well, I mean, if my door opens, I'm walking through.
I mean, just because you had to kick 6 puppies to get it open, whatever.
Listen,
it's fine. The door's
innocent
open.
people get hurt. They just don't get hurt by my hands. I'm in search of redemption.
That's right.
So DM, so again, the one way of egress is the normal pathway in front of us that leads directly towards the main hall where people come and go for visits, conjugal and otherwise. And then you have the only other way is through Theo's cell specifically, correct?
Yeah, that you know about. So
that I know about. Is there any way, any opening between our cells that is possible at all?
There is a small sort of barred window in between the 2 cells. It is high, but you guys could potentially, look at one another, or, trade items or whatever through that little window. And then of course there are the doors, the barred doors that are in front of you, that lead to the main hallway. Theo, if you inspect that northern wall, it is complete. It is just stone from what you can tell. It does not necessarily seem reinforced, but there's no window, or anything. And as best as you can tell, it's sealed up pretty tight.
Theo is completely distracted from this plan to escape, as he has just learned that he's allowed to have conjugal visits. This changes everything.
Same.
Theo's good in jail.
I was hoping that you were going to bring that up.
This changes everything.
Who's coming to visit him?
Theo is frantically writing out scroll notes to pass to the guard. This is his new pastime. There are girls in this building that need to visit.
Oh my, what have I done? So
Are those messages going to Gorn's sister?
Absolutely.
Oh God.
Yeah, and anybody.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Come see me. All right. No. Yeah. Okay. So we're in some solid walls. We have a pass through. Got it.
You got it. Would it be possible, DM, that Mila would have had enough, or Theo would have had enough time to string together bedding, or
You can certainly do that. So we have some time. We're going to be switching back and forth between you guys and Kevyn and Ellen. And so basically think of it this way. It's a total, you got there on day 2. You sent your message through the channels to Wylam, that Theo was there. They did not get that message for a full 3 days after that. So for the next 3 days, you guys can start to build your plan, for how you want to try and escape, the prison. So let me tell you a little bit, about what you're dealing with. In order to, break any of the walls, you will effectively have to cause that wall around 150 damage.
okay, all right. and but hopefully quiet damage because otherwise.
Correct. Otherwise, you may
Mhm.
draw attention.
Mhm.
And so maybe that's good or maybe that's not. But
Earlier in the day, the guard, who has been a friend of mine the whole time I've been serving the church, passed me a poster to hang up on my wall of Wylam's sister in a bikini.
Okay, Shawshank it is.
Yes.
Great.
yeah,
All
nope,
right.
nope. Overruled, not happening. Sorry.
What? I can't have
Uh,
a poster of
no,
Wylam's sister?
Whatever,
Why?
dude. Play to the
no,
fiction.
no.
Play to the fiction.
No Shawshank? Oh, come on. All right.
I will say that you were given a piece of parchment in which you drew a very crude version of Lerlani, but it was not procured from the guard for you. But if you would like to have a hand-drawn picture of Lerlani up on your wall for some reason, you may have that.
Okay, I'll accept that.
It's just like a stick figure with 2 circles on the
Right.
chest and 2 dots in the middle.
That's it.
Funny. That's a good question. DM, was Theo incarcerated with all of his belongings? Or was he stripped of them when they put him in that cell?
No, Theo was basically put in the cell with his belongings because the sunrise really just meant him to be there as bait. And then something got lost in the shuffle between him staying there after their terse conversation, and Theo was never stripped of his belongings.
Interesting. Well, Mila, because we can only hear each other right now, but we don't. We only hear each other, but we're not able to see each other. Not
I mean,
quite
you
yet.
have like a little cot or whatever. You could hypothetically move that up against the wall,
Sure.
stand on that, and peer through the little, slit that you have if you want to look at each other. There is that possibility.
Understood. Well, if Mila would probably think to do that because an athletic being, she is not quite. So she would at least do that much to clap eyes on him and peering at him would say, well, it looks like at least you have all of your gear on you. Do you have a rope on you at all?
No, I don't have a rope. But I do have a character sheet that probably has a list of things on it.
You may even have rope.
I might. I don't know what it is. Am I holding a bunch of stuff here? Let's see what I got here.
Interesting. All right.
They wouldn't have left me with weapons, would they? That seems crazy.
You got put in there, Theo, again, like right afterwards.
Yeah, so I have weapons.
You have all your gear with you. Everything that you had going in, you still have.
Yeah, so I have a shield.
You could have planted both of those beans.
Well, no, I know I have the beans, but as far as what's in my inventory, I don't have a rope. I have a shield. I have some daggers, a crossbow, and my chainmail. And then in my pocket, I have I have a bag of beans. These beans are quite unpredictable, but
you also have your mother's comb, and you have your mace.
These toothbrushes, yes.
Things to pop when you're expecting jail. So, so for all intents and purposes, I think what we can establish between each other is that there may be something better than simply chipping away at this wall in between us. I've got magic. Now, the problem is that it's going to be loud. It's going to be very loud. But I can at least blast through this. And that's one way. If you look, and I'll try to guide him to knock on the wall. You said it was the north wall of his cell that I know of that has the secret passageway. If you go over to the north and then you go a couple of bricks to the right, keep tapping. No, that's not the sound. Aha, that's the sound you need. That sort of thing. To show him that I know that pathway is one way out. Quite honestly, I don't know what lies beyond that entryway, though. The other way is the only other way out is through, so to speak. But it would take some heavy convincing to allow folks to just let us walk out of here. But I can help with a little magic for that too. But you would definitely have to follow my lead, and it would put us through the main hall. So it's your choice. Which way would you rather go?
If we go toward the main hall, we're going closer to people with magic that we likely can't easily overcome.
Agree.
So my intent would be to go away from that, but I'm not opposed to a big boom and we just fight our way out. I'm okay with that.
Fair enough. Then when the time is right, then we make our move.
Perfect.
And I think we can agree that we wait until the most deserted time frame when there's not as many guards around, that sort of thing.
All right. Perfect. We will cut over to Kevyn and Ellen. First, what I want to do is sort of resolve what's happened over the last few days with you guys as you were, waiting for more information. And then we'll get to kind of present day and what you're planning to do. So you guys just left Erlani. And what were some of the things that you guys were doing over the last few days?
Sulking.
Well, there's a tavern upstairs.
Just drink, just on a bender.
I mean, there's a tavern upstairs. All right.
There's more than a tavern upstairs. I got 20 platinum and fucking gems in my pocket, dude.
Oh, no doubt. It's on.
Ellen, hang here. I'll be back. Kevyn gonna hit the streets.
All right. What's Kevyn gonna do on the streets?
He's gonna tag the name Orm Gravesick 7 or 8 times.
Okay. So
That's fucking dope. That's so good.
So you're going around just randomly to the city and just spelling out the name Orm Gravesick.
No, I got a stencil, dude. I'm slapping paint and moving fast.
Okay. Let me think about how that's going to affect things. It definitely will. How about you, Ellen?
After drowning my sorrows in
we know he drowned in
carnal pleasures, fade to black. I think I'm gonna read that book cover to cover as many times as I can in 5 days.
So you're gonna deep dive into what information is known about Arakon. Why don't you give me 5 D20s, intelligence, something along those lines.
Can I use investigation?
Yes, you can.
First roll is a 21. Second roll is a 7. Third roll is a 23. Fourth roll is a 22. And the fifth roll is a 13.
So for all of the rolls that exceeded 20. You learn a lot of what Hafsa already told you. That Arakon is credited with being the first Fae that was able to cross over into the material plane. He landed in what we now call Kalishan. He and a few others were unable to get back to the Feywild. They only figured out how to open the door one way. And so they stayed in Kalishan. And these books claim that they were able to imbue the land itself with magic. And specifically, they chose to set up their residence in Kalimport. And this was basically over 1,000 years. Eventually, the city built up around them. And as they grew in knowledge and experience, the books say that they were able to open up a door to the material plane. Open up a door rather to the Feywild, and they were able to cross back over. However, as you are digging through and reading this text and rereading it, you begin to realize that all of the text about them leaving Kalimport and about Arakon leaving Kalimport is written in a completely different voice than any of the other text about the history of Arakon. And it occurs to you as you've read it and reread it and reread it several times that it feels like a relatively new addition or new information that has been added to the existing text.
Interesting.
It furthermore describes some of the bargains that people were able to share with the authors of this tome. Unsurprising to you, almost all of the bargains ended with some sort of significant sacrifice from the person that entered into the bargain. Sometimes the sacrifice was their life. Other times it was lives of those they loved. And sometimes they were able to stay alive, but it came at other personal great costs.
Okay. I think that also part of that time in those days, I would have spent utilizing the meditation practices from Erlani and sitting with the hilt of that sword.
You are able, after a few evenings, to attune to the Sunblade, which you now have in your possession.
Oh,
About to fuck some mummies up.
Dean, why don't you roll me a D100?
ooh, big dice. Oh, baby. Let's see which one's which. Oh, maybe half dice. And 58.
58. As you are spending your evenings tagging
One evening.
Orm Gravesick. Oh, just one evening.
Just one evening.
So you spend one evening tagging Orm Gravesick's name in several locations around Kalimport. And you start to notice that the tag is now popping up in other locations
Boom.
as you're taking a walk. And there seems to be a growing buzz of those who believe Gravesick existed and those who get very angry whenever they hear or see the name, but it is having an effect.
Fucking stroke of genius, Dean. God damn, dude. So clever.
Very clever. Unexpected.
Wildly. That was incredible. Love it.
So let's catch up to present day. You just got the message on the sending stone from the Thieves Guild, alerting you that Theo was being held at Dawn Tower.
Being held? I mean, like, what is going? I am.
Ellen, you know, I basically grew up in an orcish prison. And I'd heard stories of this where thieves had been captured due to surveillance of some sort. Magic beyond my knowledge. But the images of them were shown and they would be prosecuted and sentenced. There was a orc named Dugan the Arsh who was captured in the same way, but he walked around with his eyes squinted and claimed to have been charmed. That was my attempt. But Wylam talked me out of it. Otherwise, I would have walked right back into the trap. Those clerics would have extracted any information they wanted from me for sure. But they don't know it was you. They know it was me. But you were in disguise. Now that we've been underground for as long as we have, they've got to assume you had something to do with it.
Yeah. Without going back, with this being here, stuck here in this hole for the last 5 days, yeah.
Hole? This is my home!
I mean underground. I mean not in with. I meant no disrespect. This place is actually quite nice.
It's not my home.
It's very cozy. Basically, my absence has confirmed my guilt, right?
Hasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, they have to suspect, right? You said it yourself. Simple math. The Sunrise Lord is no fucking fool. He's no fool.
I mean, we could beat you up and leave you out in the street and rob you of that sunblade. But I'm sure they've got magic to extract any information they'd want from you.
Maybe.
We're on the F-wagon for sure. Something's happening upstairs, though. Want to go take a look? See what I've been up to?
Yeah. I mean, do we need to go
Incognito? Yes.
incognito and get our way back to Dawn Tower? What does it mean he's being held? Held where? Do they have him like tied up in the belfry or something? I mean, did they lock him in his room?
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. I don't know that place that well, but having driven a cart for those people as long as I did, I delivered folks to that place that never left. They were not welcome guests. They arrived in shackles.
You see me, and my face just drops, and my eyes are wide.
Let's put on some wigs and go hit the city. Show you something cool.
I'll bet Trecton's probably got some stuff that we could disguise ourselves with.
Absolutely.
Are we going in drag?
You want to be a leather pig or a leather dog?
I'm not fucking putting a tail in. I can tell you that.
Not another one.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
All right. You guys depart the safe house. You stop by the bar of the Glistening Harem. You have a quiet conversation with Trecton, and she's able to give you some basic disguises, coats, masks, crude masks, not like Halloween style, but just face coverings, things like that, just so that you're not immediately clocked. And
Yeah, collars up, hat pulled down.
Collars up, hat pulled down. Yep, sunglasses. Kevyn, you get a pair of sunglasses. These crazy coverings for your eyes. She knows exactly what you need in order to stay on the down low. Let's jump over to the prison.
You find the sunglasses tucked back behind the tank on the toilet.
Of the toilet, yeah, this fancy next gen toilet. In the safe house. It's a magical toilet. This is Desert City, a D&D5E actual play produced by TTRP Theater. I'm your Dungeon Master, Jazz. Theo is played by Chris Freedom. Ellen is played by Duke Walter. Kevyn is played by Dean Martin Jr. And Mila is played by our special guest, Cher Davis. TTRP Theater is a group of actors, artists, and gamers from all walks of life that play a diverse set of games in a diverse set of styles. We have a wide array of content available for free on YouTube. Search TTRP Theater. Follow us on X at TTRP Theater. We'd love to hear your feedback. Comment on YouTube or tweet about the show using #RenCityPod, or follow us at the same handle. Be good to one another. See you next time.